Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, receive the intuitive wisdom and guidance, and we go as guided. And there are some big, beautiful energies occurring. So let's just jump in and before we do, welcome Alicia and just put a shout out in the comments. Let us know that you're joining. And remember that we incorporate your comments and questions throughout the broadcast. So big, beautiful, powerful energies occurring right now. And probably the 3 or 4 key words would be truth, discernment, expansion, and for most, celebration. And you'll see why I say for most. So truth, discernment, expansion, celebration. And let's just jump in. We're going to look at our main theme. I'm going to bring it up here on the screen. And our main theme is power plays hyphen power moves. So it's power plays, power moves. Expect the unexpected. And note that there is this hourglass with green sand, and green representing the color of abundance and everything. And it harks back to, for me, it harks back to Wicked, where she is, of course, painted in green face and everything. There are these aspects in place because a lot's happening with Jupiter, with Venus, and also with tomorrow. All of this, there's so much happening tomorrow and then on Saturday. And tomorrow is the Sagittarius full moon. So we have these full moon energies and this, let me just go to it really quickly because it's number 5 from the unseen. So power plays, power moves, expect the unexpected. And number 5, which denotes change, and the unseen said reset, hourglass moments, time is running out, advance. And so there's this energy. Welcome, Ava. Welcome, Colleen. There's this energy about this is a reset moment. This is like everything we've been waiting for and more. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And so there's this reset, hourglass moments, time is running out, advance. And the time is running out is about, again, we've talked about a lot of this, about this a lot on this journey. And where are we lining up? Where are we aligning? Where are we stacking up? And time is running out, meaning, like the time to recover, the time to excel, the time to advance, the time to move forward, the time to align. And yet there's all this auspicious energy. So let's take a look. Let's look at the main energies first. It's, of course, a 5, nourished while waiting, patience. You'll note that it's the 22nd. It's the most powerful master number is 22. So we basically have double 2s, and then it's an 8 year, so it's the uniting unite. But the 5 and the 22 and the 8 become a 35, which is about enlightened progress. It's about progress and our enlightenment, or enlightenment through our progress. And then the 3 and the 5, of course, becomes an 8. So we have double 8s, we have double 2s, and of course you never reduce the 22. It is the master powerful number. And so there's this, again, this energy that you will see, and let's just move right into the astrological influences of truth and expansion. Truth over fiction. Truth. Not alternate realities, but the truth. And then how that truth expands us, liberates us, frees us. And so take a look on Monday. It was on 5:20 on Monday. The sun enters Gemini, 0 degrees. This is another key point you're going to see with these energies. This 0 degrees of Gemini, because the sun enters Gemini on Monday. Tomorrow, it's the Sagittarius full moon. Then Venus conjuncts Jupiter at that anaretic degree of 29 degrees. It's a big power point, and I'm going to go to these Sabian symbols in a second here. But then on the 23rd as well, Venus enters Gemini at 0 degrees. And followed by, on Saturday, on the 25th, Jupiter enters Gemini at 0 degrees. So the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter all entering, boom, 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 one right after the other at 0 degrees Gemini. So let's just take a quick look at that 0 degree of Gemini, Sabian symbol. And it's known as a glass-bottomed boat reveals undersea wonders. The revelation of unconscious energies and submerged psychic structures. So it's a glass-bottomed boat that reveals undersea wonders. This is what we're talking about is within us, that in essence we are a hologram, a glass-bottomed boat. And the revelation is that something unconscious, these energies and these submerged psychic structures are revealed. Within the relative security of a boat, an individual person can learn to be aware of the as yet hidden contents of humankind's collective unconscious. Provided this boat, that is to say, their ego, that separates them from the collective planetary psyche of humankind, of mankind, has been given a glass bottom. The conscious mind must have become, in part at least, translucent. So again, this migration from ego, mind, personality leading to soul source connection leading to the soul leading. This translucency is not direct openness. The window of the mind remains closed, but through it, the individual can become aware of the outside. Here, outside means the psychic depths below the normal level of consciousness. So what this symbol is talking about is the fact that while the translucency isn't direct openness, meaning it's just wide open, there's still quote unquote a veil. We do have the ability to discern, and that's another big word, truth, discernment, expansion, that there are psychic depths within us, and thereby we're able to reveal them, experience them. And this symbol says, at this first stage of the discovery process, one can only speak of vision. So it means we will see things that we can see, but not necessarily identify. The feeling is one of wonder. I did not know this could exist. How beautiful, or how exciting. And its key phrase is, a new dimension of reality is perceived by the earnest inquirer. So here's the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter. The Sun, our life force, our source of everything, our illumination. Followed by Venus, divine feminine, love, nurturing, how we nourish ourselves and one another, the planet. And then Jupiter, the great benefactor. All three of these, boom, 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 highlighting this one point, this one Sabian symbol, this one truth of discovery. It's the discovery of the process. One can only speak of vision, not identification. The feeling is one of wonder. I did not know this could exist. How beautiful, or how exciting. A new dimension of reality is perceived by the earnest inquirer. And remember, we've said this all along. The more open we are, the more in alignment we are with soul source connection, all of this, the more we live our lives that way, the more this new dimension of reality is realized. We perceive it more. Because if we're in ego, mind, personality, it's closed off. We don't even recognize that it exists. So we're piercing the veil, we're piercing the illusion, and recognizing a new dimension of reality. And this is true. Let's just take a look at the astrological chart for the Sagittarius full moon, which is tomorrow. It's occurring tomorrow. And look at the beauty of the fact that this, and you'll see in the inner circle, you see the blue lines, and look how they look like an hourglass. And the key points of that hourglass down at the bottom left is the moon. You move over to the right, it's Pluto. You kind of move further up to the right, it's the lot of fortune and Neptune. And then you move all the way to the top left, and these are the blue lines that shape or identify, outline the hourglass. And of course, it's the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter all conjunct. So there's this auspicious energy that is occurring, and it's after. So April and May, all of these energies, the eclipses, I mean, there's just so many astrological influences that have been compacted into April and May. And this is that final, that burst, um, where we've talked about crossing the threshold. We've talked about finally realizing our rewards. And it's number 3 from the unseen. And they said rewards and consequences, living the dream or the extreme, and then fate. So what this is talking about is power plays, power moves, expect the unexpected. So people, places, things, again, micro to macro, we can expect, and power plays and power moves, it has a negative connotation per se, but it's not. So yes, it can be that we will witness that from a shadow aspect, and certainly, on the macro. However, it also is that power plays and power moves can be that it's initiative and somebody surprises us with, an offer, or, they reach out of the blue and contact us, or, different things can occur, and that they will feel as though they're a power play or a power move. And that it then ties in with the rewards and consequences, living the dream or the extreme. So again, if it's a power play and it's an extreme move and it's a shadow element, and then it's tied to fate. So both of them are tied to fate. So whether we visualize or receive it as a positive or a negative, everything's divine and neutral, but we can experience or we can witness it on the world stage. The moral of the story is that expect the unexpected. Expect these power plays, whether, beneficial and positive, or whether it's shadowy negative, um, that they will occur. We will witness them, experience them. And that in that essence, because it's number 3 from the unseen, it's either a reward, and we had the Sabian symbol a couple of times, the reward to the faithful. So there's rewards and consequences. It's kind of like light and shadow. Living the dream, light, or the extreme, shadow. And that everything's faded. It's all faded. So however it shows up for us in our world, in the macro, or in our individual lives, the micro, it's going to be dependent on those things, and it's going to be unexpected. It will come out of nowhere. And you can see my cheeks are, I'm smiling from the inside. There's this sense of the fact that it is more about rewards than consequences per se, and more about living the dream than the extreme. However, it's all faded. So let's move. I'm going to share my screen here for a moment, and we're going to jump into Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And here we are. And this is a beautiful image. It's Jupiter rising beyond Alien Throne Rock in New Mexico in the US. And the image credit and copyright is by Marcin Zajac. And what a beautiful, look at how beautiful there, as above, so below. And there's an eternalness to this image. There's an extraordinary futuristic element, and yet something so ancient and rooted and timeless in that. So Pam Youngin's beautiful astrologer and her North Point journal, and she starts out with, if I can get it to come up. Oh my goodness. There are so many interesting things. See, about I keep having issues with my eCam and the main window disappearing, and here we are. Forgive me. Jupiter rules. The planet Jupiter plays a major role in our experience of the energies this coming week. The full moon on this Thursday is in Sagittarius. The sign that Jupiter rules is strongly associated with or affiliated with. And the giant planet changes signs on Saturday when it departs Taurus and enters Gemini. Jupiter is the largest known planet of our local solar system, and thus has the effect of emphasizing, magnifying, or exaggerating what it touches. Keywords for Jupiter include idealism, faith, belief, optimism, confidence, expansion, and generosity. The planet is the ruler of adventurous Sagittarius and co-ruler with Neptune of compassionate Pisces. In our human experience, Jupiter rules over religions, rituals, and ceremonies, legal issues and courts of law, cultural exchanges and foreign affairs, philosophy and higher education, our search for the meaning of life, and more. And this is very interesting, Jupiter ruling over religion, ritual, legal issues, courts of law. There's a lot going on in the US in the court of law at this moment. So let's see how some of these keywords in Jupiter's influence might fit into the landscape we'll be traversing this week. Welcome, Olivia. Here's the full moon. The current lunar cycle reaches its climax tomorrow, Thursday, May 23rd at 6:53 a.m. Pacific time. At that time, the moon will be at 2 degrees, 55 arc minutes. And I love this 2 degrees, the yin yang, the masculine, feminine, the purity and the harmony of the balance of the two. And then 55 is known as great abundance in the I Ching and so forth. So there's, again, this expansion, truth, discernment, rewards, consequences. The full moon, of course, is exactly opposite the sun at the same degree of Gemini. A full moon always asks us to find a balance between the qualities of the two signs involved. In this instance, we are called to access the best traits of both mental, airy Gemini and intuitive, fiery Sagittarius, to be both logical and wise, and to rely equally on reason and faith. So this is, again, yin-yang, that harmony, the purity of the divine masculine, purity of the divine feminine, purity of the void, purity of the light. It's asking us to use both our discernment and our intuition. We are directed to seek meaningful experiences through intellectual learning and the exchange of information, but also to explore the world beyond our local environs, both physically and philosophically. And remember, the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus are all hitting that 0 degree of Gemini that speaks about the glass bottom boat, revealing something far more prescient, present, even though most don't see it. They don't witness it because they're closed off. Although Venus and Jupiter are still in Taurus at the time of the full moon, they are separated from the sun by less than 4 degrees. So their energies are strongly woven into the fabric of this lunation. With the moon opposing Venus and Jupiter, the qualities of optimism, inspiration, and creativity are enhanced. But we must also be wary of overindulging or of needing the immediate gratification of whatever our current desires might be. So again, this is because, again, see, it's living the dream or living the extreme. And so, and here Pam Youngins is talking about the fact that we need to be mindful of not overindulging or of needing the immediate gratification of whatever current desires might be, because that's living in the shadow. Taking those cautions into account, the potential benefits of this week's full moon are many. The moon is trine, trine is a harmonious aspect to Neptune, providing opportunities for significant spiritual growth and a deeper understanding of our life's meaning. So there's a revelatory, so again, hourglass, where we've been waiting, and what's my purpose, and what was I made for, and all of these things. It finally gets revealed. It finally, we start to see the truth and the expansion and the rewards and so forth. And of course, equally so is the opposite of that for whoever that may be applicable. So with the moon opposing Venus, Jupiter, the qualities of optimism, inspiration, and creativity are enhanced. But we must also be aware of overindulging. Taking the cautions into account, the potential benefits of this week's full moon are many. The moon is trine Neptune, providing opportunities for significant spiritual growth and a deeper understanding of our life's meaning. Luna is also sextile Pluto, helping us feel empowered and passionate about whatever adventure or cause we choose to engage. So again, when we do so in a positive manner, positive energies, positive outcomes and experiences flow. Equally true if we're doing so from a shadow place, from a living the extreme, because everything's faded. This is what the unseen is saying to us. And then again, we have Jupiter's ingress into Gemini. As it travels through the zodiac, Jupiter spends about 12 months in each of the signs. This Saturday, May 25th, the giant planet completes its year-long transit of Taurus and enters Gemini. Jupiter expands, magnifies, and increases our awareness of the areas of life related to the sign it is moving through. Over the past year, while the planet has been in earthly Taurus, we've felt a strong emphasis on values, on financial concerns, freedoms, hopes, dreams, and wishes, and on the physical and material aspects of our shared life experience. While Jupiter travels through Gemini until June 9th, 2025, we can expect the collective focus to shift to communications and the dissemination of information. She says, as if the news cycle isn't already active enough. Among the strongest issues of this year, I foresee, Pam Youngins foresees a growing discussion about what is fact and what is fiction. This may be due to the increased use of artificial intelligence to create both words and images. And is to remember, let me just come back here for a second. Remember, we have discussed many times, and this is certainly its age of Aquarius and communication and so forth, and how artificial intelligence, everyone thinks it's the end all be all. It's not. It will never, 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 never supersede original intelligence. Original intelligence is soul source connection. Original intelligence is what we are made from, created from. We are the custodians of. Everything that we experience in life on Earth is from original intelligence. Artificial intelligence being one of those aspects, one of those creations or abilities. And so it is to remember, can these things assist humankind? Yes. But they should never be at the supplant or replace what is original, what is native. And that is a huge task for us as human beings, 8 billion souls on the planet, because ego, mind, personality, we're coming off 2,000 plus years of patriarchal, divine masculine, ego, mind, personality driven life. And the worry, the concern is that we, quote unquote, air quotes, we think that artificial intelligence is going to save us or is going to somehow advance us in miraculous ways. But that means that we are forgetting that it's original intelligence from which it emanates. Its source. It's the unseen. It's higher hand. God, Allah, Buddha, higher hand. That is original intelligence. That is how artificial intelligence is made possible. It's not the other way around. Or it's not that artificial intelligence lacks original intelligence, meaning somehow we humans have done this. We humans who still can't even explain the Great Pyramids and other features of antiquity, and in the most advanced state, we still can't explain it. Science still can't explain it. We can't replicate it. So how would artificial intelligence be greater than original intelligence? Okay, moving on, coming back through to share my screen again and finish up with Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. She says, over the past year, while the planet has been in earthly Taurus, we felt that strong degree about physical aspects and material aspects and so forth. So now we're in this new cycle. And she says, among the strongest issues of this next year, she foresees a growing discussion about what is fact and what is fiction. This may be due to the increased use of artificial intelligence to create both words and images. But this theme will also be magnified because we will be deluged with very loud and quite disparate opinions about what we should think and believe. patriarchal, matriarchal. We're shifting. One wants to advance, a portion of humanity wants to advance, the other portion is clinging to the old. And she says, in other words, the volume will be turned up, which can make it hard for us to quiet our minds enough to think clearly. As a result, this Jupiter in Gemini year will teach us to use our higher wisdom and intuitive knowing to discern what is true and what is real, to know what is live and what is Memorex. And that's an old commercial that she's harking back to. Is it live or is it Memorex? Original intelligence, artificial intelligence. We will find that it is no longer adequate to rely only on our minds or on logic and reason to discern truth and to explain our world. Because, again, as we shift and we move forward, the first thing the unseen said was truth and discernment lead-guide the way. So this is all about truth, discernment, expansion, rewards. That's the positive. That's the pure and positive of the story. The other half of the equation is that truth and discernment lead and guide the way. There's consequences. There's living the extremes. There's clinging to the past. And all of those things are shadow. They're faded. So no matter which side you're lining up with, we're going to experience this. And there's a reset here because it's an hourglass moment or moments, and that time is running out because ultimately we advance. That's just the big and short and tall of it. So let me just finish up one last thing with Pam Youngins, because it's on Thursday, tomorrow, that all of this is occurring. And she said, and just the amount of activity tomorrow. So Venus conjunct Jupiter means together with. The alignment between Venus and Jupiter is often a good time for a new beginning in the areas of romance, the creative arts, and financial matters. We are hopeful and excited about the possibilities and feel able to trust our hearts. With the two planets in the very last anaretic degree of Taurus, and that's that very powerful, both when it's at 29 degrees and when it's at 0 degrees, it's very powerful. Developments in these areas may feel especially faded now. There's that word, and this came from the unseen, and here's Pam Youngins reiterating it. Venus sextile Neptune, Jupiter sextile Neptune, with the two benefics also in harmony. And Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics. They are the giver of gifts and abundance and love and all of this and expansion. So these two benefics also in harmonious aspect to Neptune when they align, we feel very much in the flow, and we are able to handle relationship matters with compassion and understanding. The longer term Jupiter-Neptune aspect also encourages us to explore new creative or spiritual avenues, to imagine a better world. Here's the glass bottom boat. Wow, I couldn't imagine this is possible, or wow, I didn't know that exists. And to take an intuitive leap of faith in some area of our lives. So again, you're going to be called. We will be individually and collectively called. So this will, each of us, it's a strand. We are each a strand of the greater tapestry. And so individually, you're going to see how this manifests in our individual lives and how it manifests in our collective being, in our collective state, and how it's faded. But these developments in these areas will be amplified, magnified. You won't be able to, and nor would you, good, bad, or indifferent, nor would you want to avoid them, because they're going to advance you. So Venus sextile Neptune, Jupiter sextile Neptune, these two great benefics, they are going to see how you'll be called for a leap of faith. There's an intuitive leap of faith. You'll just know what's right. You'll know what to do and when to do it and with whom to do it and where to do it. You'll know. And this leap of faith, meaning you will have to kind of like gulp, okay, and follow through. The full moon, it peaks at 6:52 tomorrow evening, Pacific time, when the moon is at 2 degrees 55 arc minutes Sagittarius. This lunation brings to light new insights about our hopes and dreams, beliefs and values. So again, it's going to amplify and magnify that. Venus enters Gemini. While Venus is in Gemini from May 23rd to June 17th, we strongly value communication in our relationships. So where we may have been hiding or unwilling to come forward and discuss things, there's going to be a greater and a stronger value on communication in relationships. And it can be in, romantic, platonic, business, whatever it may be, there's a stronger value to communicate. We may also wish to experience more variety in this area of life and be more restless with our routines. So again, the status quo isn't going to cut it. So how might we adjust? How might we pivot? And if we're suffering or stuck, or then do the simplest thing, which is to step outside, pick a flower, smell a flower, hug a tree, walk in the sunshine, take a bath, whatever it may be. Do something that simply shifts your perspective, your energy, and the moment, because that will then deliver you. It'll advance you even in that micro example. So last but not least, in general, people can be more lighthearted and eager to socialize. So there's going to be an effervescence to this energy, to these energies, to this hourglass moment. And welcome, Elizabeth. And um, there may be, Olivia's just saying the closed captions may have disappeared. Again, it may, between the live stream and eCam, there may be something that's occurring in that way. So let's continue on, because number 2 from the unseen is, they said, no turning back. Expansion at its finest, at its greatest. And then they said peak performance. And that peak performance was from last week. And it was talking about drivers, start your engines, and this go, go, go. So you can see how these energies, this release, this truth, discernment, expansion, abundance, rewards, and they're talking about no turning back. Expansion at its finest, at its greatest, peak performance. And so remember, again, shadow. The shadow aspects may become very loud. What we're being shown and told and whatever, two drastically different realities, two drastically different choices, two drastically different worlds. And you will need your intuition and your discernment to recognize the truth. And the truth will always speak for itself. It doesn't need gimmicky, mystical, magical, sleight of hand, all that good stuff. And it doesn't need defending. It speaks for itself. You'll just know it. And thereby, to use your heightened abilities and senses, your deeper knowing. Elizabeth is saying, a true moment of letting things go. Ask how important it is and take the next right step. Exactly. Every single step is going to be brought to you. Truth and discernment will lead and guide the way. Power plays power moves. Expect the unexpected. So just because it's unexpected and it might be shocking doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's not best and right for you. Intuition and discernment. Because there's no turning back. Expansion at its finest and greatest. Peak performance. Drivers, start your engines. Go, go, go. Looking at, I want to bring up our mantra because it's so beautiful and it's so important. I nourish my uniqueness. And you see this beautiful pink heart and kind of pink flowers. It's an abstract image. And then all of this just imagery of the greens and nature and humanity. You can, if you really study the image, you'll see a lot in it. This also reminds me of Elizabeth and her art and everything in many different ways. So I nourish my uniqueness. This is a message from the unseen. It's not about hiding your light. It's not about putting your light under a bushel basket. It is about celebrating your light, your uniqueness. What was I made for? And how that is revealed at this time. It's finally this hourglass moment. These things are going to be revealed. The expansion of our universe, of our reality, of our truths, of who we truly are. And not who we've told ourselves, not ego, mind, personality, not the masks, the labels, the identities. That's all constructed. This is the innate soul source, who I am, who, what I've come to do, what I've come to offer, what I'm the custodian of, and how beautiful and magnificent and magnified and amplified that is. Because it's number 4, which is foundational. You know, I heard from the unseen, and it's the Adele song, Hello, It's Me. I was wondering if after all these years you would like to meet, to go over everything. So here's the unseen saying to us, hello, it's me. And this can also be, again, people expect the unexpected, power plays, power moves, relationships, people, former people in our lives, business, personal, whatever it may be, familial. It can be this thing of, hello, it's me. I was wondering after all this time if you would like to meet. Because remember, we're prizing conversations. They're heightened. There's expansion involved. We're releasing things. We're letting go. We're purifying. We're emptying the vessel. All of this is to move us forward in purity, in truth, in goodness. No more shadow shady, you know what? No more alternate realities and lies and deceptions and all of this shadow stuff. Poof. We're moving beyond that. We're moving through. And even with this glass bottom boat, that's the point of that symbol, is to say to us, there is more. There has always been more. And more is original. It has never left us. It has always been present. It's just that the veil was darker, heavier, more solid, and it's being lifted. A new dimension of reality is perceived by the earnest inquirer. You have to be earnest about it. So, and then let's look at the ascendant in the chart. So again, mantra, our beautiful mantra, I nourish my uniqueness. Nourish it, nourish it, nourish it, and keep nourishing it. It does not mean that you have to shove it in people's faces. That is not what the unseen is saying. What they are saying is, I nourish my uniqueness, which is meaning I'm nourishing it, I'm feeding it, and it will just naturally, organically shine. It will speak for itself. I don't need to proclaim it. I don't need to defend it. I am. That's all you need to do. I am. In the chart, the ascendant in this Sagittarius full moon chart, the Sabian symbol is totally intent upon completing an immediate task. A human being is deaf to any allurement. The total concentration required for reaching any spiritual goal. So this is all about this is our ascendant, our rising sign. And this is all about not being led astray. True north, soul source connection, truth, live, not Memorex, original intelligence, not artificial intelligence. And it's not bad, it's not to denigrate, it's simply to stay in the lane of purity, of truth, because it will organically speak and it will open. So this is the final symbol of the first half of the cycle. In the year cycle, the fall equinox is now at hand. It's the fall in the southern hemisphere. Autumn begins. Through spring and summer, many ways and byways have been experienced. The last message of this hemicycle of individualization, so this whole cycle is about individualization, is that on all decisive occasions, what must be done has to be done so intently that no outer voices can penetrate the mind, still less the soul. So we're advancing. rewards, living the dream. It's faded. There's unexpected power plays and power moves. It's going to truth and discernment lead and guide the way. And nothing can penetrate that. It's to stay, it's fortitude, it's perseverance and fortitude. The neophyte stands at the gates of the sacred pyramid. There is only one step they can take ahead, or they are lost. So when we don't stay focused and when we don't walk the talk and when we don't do the works, we can get lost. And there's plenty of example on a magnified scale, which is the unseen is telling us that's going to occur. So again, it's like as loud as the rewards and living the dream and everything and the advance occurs, so too equally loud the shadow, what's crumbling. They're all being amplified and magnified because it's faded. It's like this big crescendo. This is the culminating step, the decision that results from a myriad of small choices. Still, a shadow of hesitation can remain. Attention may be distracted from the now by a voice from the past, glamorizing some old memory. So in other words, again, something can make us stop to think that the old is better than the unknown new. It's the beast we know. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Because the beast we know is from the past. It's an illusion. It's a perception. It's a judgment. And while what's in front of us is unknown, so it's a little intimidating or scary, and we might be nervous, expect the unexpected, there's a point about holding true to it. The outer doors of perception and thought must be closed so the soul can complete its conquest of illusion. See, it's the soul triumphing over illusion, over ego, mind, personality, illusion. Because the soul is what's eternal. It's what we come in with. It's what we leave with. It's what lives on, is the soul. And so here, this symbol, the outer doors of perception and thought must be closed so the soul can complete its conquest of illusion. Because the soul knows. The soul will never guide you astray. It always knows true north. And with this, there's a moment here because number 5, this reset, hourglass moments, time is running out, advance. We want to advance towards what the soul, original intelligence, soul source connection, what's eternal, what's true. What's true. And again, we'll know truth because it speaks for itself. Here, the Sabian symbol for the moon. 2 men playing chess. The transcendent ritualization of conflict. And what's so amazing about chess is that it talks about the fact that in chess, the complex types of energies, which in their togetherness constitute a human person, are symbolized by 6 kinds of pieces: the king, the queen, bishops, knights, rooks, and pawns. And the struggle between light and darkness, the yin and the yang, is ritualized, ending in most cases with the checkmating of the king, the ego, the conscious self. The most important piece in chess is the queen, because it represents the divine feminine, it represents the soul, it represents the soul source connection, and thus it triumphs. Checkmate, it triumphs over the ego conscious self. And so again, we need a healthy ego mind personality in service to the soul. This 3rd stage symbol deals with conflict, but at the level of group culture and psychological symbolization. It brings to the objective consciousness the basic realities in interpersonal play. So this is how we're within ourselves, how do we deal with the divine masculine, the king, and the divine feminine, the queen, within ourselves? Do we choose ego, mind, personality over soul source connection, intuition, the queen? Or do we choose the queen and align the king in service to it? Big piece here. Chiron, the wounded healer, and so this represents healing. The Sabian symbol is the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires, abundance made possible by human togetherness and cooperation. This screams divine feminine. This symbol, the wounded healer, is saying the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires, rewards, living the dream, expansion. And here this is saying it's abundance made possible by human togetherness and cooperation, unity. It's not, it's collaboration and unity and compromise and, and all of the good things because humans are coming together. It's not kill or be killed and, lack mentality and there's not enough, so I trickle down economics and all that good stuff. It's saying together, united, together, abundance is made possible. In contrast to the crude and cruel road to fame and power symbolized by the prize fighter, we now see a symbol of apparently wide open and effortless fulfillment. Alone, a human being can barely survive in nature's great life drama. In organized groups, humankind can, in due time, fulfill their desires. The abundant life is in theory open to all. At least this is the ideal, the great dream. And the unseen has been saying to us from the get-go, the ideal becomes the new reality. So in the Aquarian matriarchal era and age, the ideal, the great dream, is the new reality. At this stage, the goal of happiness dominates the consciousness of cultural humankind. The more validly so, the more modest their desires. Religious philosophies like American New Thought glorify this social feeling of abundance, glamorizing it into an avid cosmic optimism and a cult of success. So it becomes this way of being, this way of thinking. It's cosmic optimism. And it goes back to that very first symbol where the sun and the moon, or sun, Jupiter, and Venus at 0 degrees Gemini, a new dimension of reality is perceived. This process of, and this feeling of wonder. I didn't know this could exist. How beautiful or how exciting. I mean, because again, in reality, here we are, and it's like, it looks like everything's going to heck in a handbag, so to speak, as though everything's going backwards, and yet it's not. That's an illusion. But it has to crescendo. It has to come to the peak moment for it to collapse. And that's why this wounded healer, Chiron, is saying, see, it's cosmic optimism. It's what's to come. And I want to jump very quickly because I want to bring in our two quotes. And so this is, yes, it's hexagram 35. Sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. So hexagram 35, and it again is about the beauty of going up here. It's the progress, it's enlightened progress. And what's interesting is its underlining cause is number 5, nourishment while waiting, this patience. And so here we tend to measure strength in the same way that we view force. Force moves bodies and is always creating a reaction. When we push on something and cause it to move, we will also be propelled backward by the force we have exerted. Strength is the power of the weak or yielding. When energy radiates without force. And here's our first. Force can exhaust energy. It's our first quote. Force can exhaust energy, but strength grows exponentially. So again, strength is internal. It's quiet. It's like the truth. It's empowerment. It imbues us and fortifies us with strength, not force. Strength is divine feminine. Force is divine masculine. So strength is the power of the weak or yielding when energy radiates without force. Force can exhaust energy, but strength grows exponentially. When you can become yielding, all energy that is no longer wasted in defending yourself against events out there fortifies strength in here. So again, when you can become yielding, all that energy that you're exerting to defend something or to hang on to something or whatever, it's wasted. But when you become yielding, it's no longer wasted because it fortifies and strengthens you internally. Becoming supple and strong, you achieve progress. And this is hexagram 35 from Carrie Hone at cafeosol.com. She's brilliant. I absolutely love her interpretations and readings of the hexagrams. She goes on to say, strength is not measured in how you overcome others, but in how you overcome yourself. So strength is not measured, and this is our second image, and I love this image. So the quote is, strength is not measured in how you overcome others, but in how you overcome yourself. And there is both the tree of life mandala to the right, and then there's this lone dandelion. And the beauty about the dandelion is that, of course, when it's first sprouted and everything, it's the beautiful yellow flower. And then over time, as it transforms, it becomes the white, powdery, fluffy head. And each one of those petals, if you will, disperses in the wind. And so the point and the moral of the story is the dandelion isn't fighting itself. Its strength is measured in knowing that it doesn't need to overcome itself. It goes forward and creates new life. So it's eternal. Its strength is eternal. There's no force involved. It's innate. It's natural. And so she goes on to say, those who master others have force. Those who master themselves have strength. Cultivating inner strength, the weak progresses to unprecedented heights in the image of outward expansion. So it's about cultivating inner strength where the weak progresses to unprecedented heights. Power plays, power moves, expect the unexpected, these rewards, this expansion, this hourglass moment of opportunity, this reset. And it goes to number 6 from the unseen, which said, they said miracles when you least expect them. Sun all around. And this beautiful image of the sun card, which is from the Luminous Tarot by Brigitte Ashwood. And it's just radiating this. And they're like miracles when you least expect them. Sun all around. And then they gave me This Is My Now by Jordan Sparks. And just a quick lyrics. The song says, there was a time I packed my dreams away, living in a shell, hiding from myself. There was a time when I was so afraid, I thought I'd reached the end. Baby, that was then. I am made of more than my yesterdays. This is my now, and I am breathing in the moment. As I look around, I can't believe the love I see. My fears behind me, gone are the shadows and doubt. That was then. This is my now. And so with hexagram 35, it's all talking about inner strength, inner empowerment, and how that which appears to be weak or yielding is actually the most powerful. And it's in that sense that it takes us to unprecedented heights and outward expansion. She concludes with, Chin, which is hexagram 35, is the image of birds taking flight as the sun begins to rise. It happens naturally, day after day, without great ceremony. It is what they do. The spider portrays the proper relationship to life. They build their web and simply wait for life to bring them nourishment. They do not contend with anything and are unconcerned with what has not landed on their path. See, they're not forcing anything. They're innate. It's natural. There's strength in the fact that they created this web, and then they innately know to allow, to be open to receive. Like the dandelion here, tiny seeds too portray the progressive power of the weak that is accomplished through movement and stillness. They don't force anything. The wind comes about and it blows the remnants of what was yellow, is now puffy and white with the little seed head, moves it forward. Movement and stillness. It is their nature to grow intricate spikes that will attach to the fur of passing animals or into the seeds of lawns and so forth. Observing the myriad of ways nature achieves reproduction shows a tapestry created without prejudice. To follow life, you build your foundation by cultivating whatever unique qualities life has given to you. I nourish my uniqueness. So let me just repeat. To follow life, you build your foundation by cultivating whatever unique qualities life has given to you. Your soul came in with everything that you are, exactly what you need, everything you need. These unique qualities that life has given you, that your soul has given you and brought in, chosen. You can then embrace the wondrous things that life brings to nourish your uniqueness. You have the opportunity to bring light to others in their time of darkness. Regardless of the situation, all things are progressing as they should. It's fated. And so, hexagram 35 and this progress, enlightened progress, and how strength, not force, strength, celebrating, nourishing your uniqueness, and allowing yourself to be the conduit, be the vessel that allows this purity to move through it. Because we are the custodians of source, of this divine human experience. Each one of us, each comprising a strand, a petal, a snowflake, a flake. And it's how we harness that collectively that expands in this moment and amplifies in this moment. And it is the way forward. It is the new. And so with that, there's number 7 from the unseen. It was the single word, rebound. And I sat with that for a minute because, again, it can have like, oh, it's a rebound relationship or something. It can have a negative connotation. And yet in this instance, so I sat with the word for a minute, and literally what they were saying, and I looked up the definition, and rebound, to come back from a slump, to spring back as from a sudden impact, an upward leap or movement. And here Pam Youngans was speaking to the fact that there's this leap of faith. There's a moment here that, and you see me smiling, there's a moment here that is so auspicious. We need only show up. Show up, open ourselves to receive the rewards, living the dream. These unexpected moments, embrace them. See where they take us. See where they take you. And then in true the unseen fashion and in true, soul source connection spirit, share them, be them, radiate them in a way that we collectively win. We collectively receive. We collectively advance because we've experienced the the divine masculine, the patriarchal rule, the capitalism of it, the division of it, the divide and conquer, the oppression and suppression, and those are the shadow elements of the divine masculine, ego, mind, personality, and so forth. Yes, because the purity, the alternate side of that is the Mars aspect, which is the creative force aspect, which is to initiate, to initiate change, to have the courage and the drive and the fortitude and to harness that original intelligence. So now we're going to harness that original intelligence, which is divine masculine. It's Mars energy, it's creative force. However, we're going to do that through the divine feminine, the receptive force, through strength, not force, through unity, not division or hierarchy. We're going to do it so that it's like the very best of the best of the best of us. And we witness the very best of us, humanity, in when there's catastrophe. Like you see the world come together in those moments, and you see the very best of humanity come forth. Imagine that ideal is the new reality. That's the consistent constant. And what was becomes a faded memory. Anything less than that becomes a faded memory. That's where we are. That's what's happening. That's what's on tap for everyone. And I don't know about all of you. Please place in the comments. I'm so ready for that moment. I'm so in that moment. And so I'm just going to close with our beautiful main image, main theme, power plays, power moves, expect the unexpected. And this hourglass with green sand, this abundance and everything. Because it creates and it embodies our new reality. So until next week, be well, be kind, and be generous with yourselves. Celebrate your uniqueness, nourish it, because truth and discernment lead and guide the way. Love you all. See you next week.